listening to It Came From the Radio. You know this is Jennifer Lee Spellman, aka Dr. Feldy, aka L Man. But enough about me. We have a guest here, a very special man who's definitely inspired me. I've listened to probably about an hour or so of his interviews earlier today. We have Paul Skidmore. He is a filmmaker, he is an author. I'm going to go right into the first question. He has a free ebook of one of his short stories called The Darkness Rolled Over Her, and that's available at fivecoffeesandbook.com. So could you give us like a little synopsis of why this book is for free? What's it all about? And yeah, let's go from there.
I'd love to. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So, The Darkness Rolled Over Her is a fictional short story, and the main character is Gwen. She's a middle-aged woman who has decided to take her own life, that you find that out in the early pages of the book. And she's had this event planned with some acquaintances, and so she decides, okay, I'll go on this last event. This will be kind of like a little goodbye, thing. They won't know, but I'll know. And it's a fly fishing retreat. So she gets to the retreat. She's paired up with this old fly fisherman named Roy, and her conversation and new friendship with Roy starts to challenge her thinking throughout the day. Also on the trip is a young woman that she's just met named Sam. Sam is probably in her 20s, and Gwen looks at Sam and thinks, that's kind of where I was at her age, and I don't want her to be where I am at my age. But when I feel like I have nothing left, is there anything that I can do about that? And so the
Hmm.
story is um, for anyone that has experienced any kind of really dark time or lonely time or just depressive thoughts or harmful thoughts, and the importance of human connection, not just I think all of us that have been in any kind of dark space have wanted human connection, but there is a real power when we give away the thing that we're looking for. And that's one of the themes that shows up in the film version specifically, which should be out later this year. This idea that you only keep what you give away, that if it's love and encouragement you need, if you will give love and encouragement to others, you will find it in spades more than if you wait around on someone else to give it to you. And so there's themes of mentorship, there's themes of friendship, there's themes of encouragement. And my hope for it was that someone who was going through a dark time, not just people who are having harmful thoughts, but anybody going through any kind of dark time would be able to read the book and say, "Oh, here's someone who, understands what I'm going through." Because I think that's one of the biggest things about a time like this is people feel so isolated because they think no one understands what I'm dealing with. When in fact, a lot of people go through a similar type thing, but we tend to keep it to ourselves. So they see the
Mhm.
book, they say, "Oh, here's somebody who can articulate this." And I was hoping it would be something that they could show to friends and family to say, kind of, "Hey, here's how I feel." Or for
Hmm.
friends and family who have someone that's going through a dark time to be able to read and understand how they feel, and also see some healthy examples of how to interact with somebody who's kind of in that dark space. Helpful things to say and do. I tried to model that through, especially the character of Roy in the book. There's another character that models some of that as well. I found after I wrote the book, which I originally wrote the book because my dad's a fly fisherman and he went on like a fly fishing retreat, and it's not at all based on my dad or anything, but it just sort of sparked from there and became this other thing entirely. But when I got done publishing it, I had an acquaintance from back home that had read it, and we had not ever had really a deep conversation before, but we'd been friends for most of our life, growing up at the same town together. And she mentioned reading the book, and as she was talking about the book, she started talking about some of her own things that she had struggled with, and she started getting really quite personal about it. And she felt
Hmm.
open to do so because she knew that I, as the writer, understood, what those things were like. And I felt comfortable opening up a little more to her than I normally would to somebody who's just an acquaintance or certainly a stranger, because I knew that she would receive that in a way that would be understood and not judged and all that. And I think both of us felt comfortable because we had the book as a foil. When we got uncomfortable talking about ourselves, we could go, "Oh, it's like in the book when this happens."
Hmm.
And so that's what gave me the idea to do five coffees in a book, which is basically like a discussion guide that goes through the book so that you can read the book and talk about it with a friend. And so the 5 weeks, basically, you read the book, after the first week. The first week is kind of just some icebreaker things and where to get the book. And then you come back for your second cup of coffee on week two, and everyone's read the story, and you just talk about the story and some of the themes. The discussion guide walks through it very, very easily. There's nothing you don't have to know how to lead a group or teach or anything like that. Everything's on paper. All you got to be if you can read, you're good to go.
Mhm.
Uh, Week three, we talk about Roy. We talk about the idea of mentorship and encouragement. Talk about people that have encouraged you in your life. Week four, we talk about Gwen and her story and what the changes that she makes in the story. And that gives people the opportunity, if they want to share some of their own story with their one or two friends that they're doing this with. And then week five is about Sam, and it's about, who do I know in my life that I could encourage? And then the idea is that then you would go to one or two of those Sams in your life and take the story to them and do the other and do 5 weeks with them, do 5 coffees with them as well. So that's why I wanted to give the book away for free. That's why we're giving the discussion guide away for free. Um, this topic, people who thinking about ending it all, the
Mhm.
stats on that are going up, and I'd like to see that trend reversed, and I'd like to do whatever I can. Anybody who's in that space, everybody who gets there in a unique way and is going to need a unique set of circumstances to kind of bring them out of it. But I think one thing
Mhm.
that everyone needs is to be able to safely talk about it with someone who cares about them. And so this book and this discussion guide is my way of providing an easy way to do that. And so that's why I say
Yeah.
you're going to make friends for life. It's an easy way to make friends for life. And that's why I wanted it to be free. I just didn't want there to be any impedance to anybody. If you want to buy a paperback, please do. If you want to buy coffee mugs and stickers and t-shirts and all that, I'll take your money. But if
Yeah.
you just want to get the book and the discussion guide, 5coffeesinabook.com, it is for free. And like I said, we made a feature film version of it. We shot it back in the fall of 2020. It's almost finished and should be out later this year.
Right. So I was listening to your other interviews, and this story is what you had a three-person crew for, right? You had a small crew. So my
Most days it
question,
was, yeah, most days it was only
how
three of us.
do you feel like you needed more people, or you like having a small crew?
I liked making this film with this very small crew. I never want to do it again.
Ah!
Uh, it was really great, but I went to film school at University of North Carolina School of the Arts, and
Mhm.
our incoming class was like 60 people, and there was about 200 of us in the film school, and we literally made movies every weekend for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And even in our first year, we would have 5 people in our little class projects that we were doing. And by the time we were in second and third year, our projects easily would have 20 to 40 people on set. And I've been on professional sets, been as a first assistant director or producer, where we've had 40, 100 people, on
Mhm.
set, and that's what I'm used to. And it's sort of like
Ah.
volleyball, everybody stays in their zone and does their thing and does that one thing really well. But in my professional life, I decided not to move to Los Angeles. I just wanted to be close to my family and the culture I'm familiar with, and Waffle House and Cracker Barrel, here in
Hmm.
Tennessee. And so I stayed, closer to home. And so in my professional, film and video stuff here, I've had to do a lot of things just sort of on my own and by myself. And so I have to know how to edit. I have to know how to shoot. I have to keep up with the new software and the technology and the cameras and all that stuff. And I've always had an affinity for learning all of those things, even in film school. I enjoyed being a complete filmmaker. And
Hmm.
I knew even then that I was not going to move to Los Angeles once we graduated.
Ah.
So I was trying to soak up as much as I could because I knew there was a lot I was probably going to have to do on my own or teach others how to do. And so when the
Hmm.
opportunity came along to do this film, I had one buddy, my buddy Noah, who is a complete filmmaker like myself. He's a little younger, but he's super talented. And he's the one I said, "Man, I wish we could do this. I wish we could get volunteer cast and crew." And he's the one that said, "I know we can. I know we can do it." And
Hmm.
that was that day that we had that first discussion about it was August 17th, 2020. And I literally began the conversation with, "Hey, I've got the short story. I think we could make a movie of it." And that was August 17th, 2020. September 16th, 2020, less than a month later, was our first day of production.
Wow. Look at
Yeah,
that.
we got together in 30 days. We bought some new gear. We got the money that we needed. We bought all the props and set dressing and all that stuff. As soon as I got done writing the book, I thought, yeah, there's not but four characters in this. It's all exterior day mostly. It's,
Hmm.
it's not a period piece. There's no weird costumes or, anything like that. There's no CG robots or anything like that.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I've got a camera, I've got lenses, I've got lights, I've got microphones. I think we can do this. And
Right.
so we literally shot this movie out of the back of my Subaru Outback. And our very first day, I had an art director that was mainly just sort of props gathering for us, and she made a few things as well. But she was going to be there on that first day just because it was our first day. And by the time I scheduled the first day, she already had a shoot that day that she had scheduled previously. And she said, "But I'm not going to leave you hanging. I've got a friend of mine that's going to come be a production assistant. She's a great PA. She's been on sets before. She's real knowledgeable. She's not super technical with the film stuff, but she's been on sets and she knows what the deal is, and she'll be a good extra set of hands to have." So that's fine. Her name was Caitlin. And so Caitlin showed up the first day. I'd never met her. She hung with us that first day. She asked about the story. She was really into the story. She loved how sort of chill everything was. I'd planned a very easy, always plan a very easy first day because everybody's
Hmm.
sort of figuring things out. And she said, can I come back and work on this some more?" And I said, "You
Hmm.
can work on it all you want. You just need to know I can't pay you mileage. I don't have any gas money. Like I'll feed you if you're
Right.
here. I got nothing." She's like, "Oh, that's fine. I
Right.
understand." Okay.
Hmm.
And she was there for, I think, every production day except for two.
Hmm.
So we shot for 18 days over about a month and a half. And she came to every day except for two. One day was in the middle of the production. She said, "I'm moving." I said, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah.
Um, and so then she wasn't there our very last day, mostly because we didn't need her. But the last day that she was there, which was our next to last day on set, she kept talking about Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville this, Louisville that. We're in Nashville, Tennessee area, which is like a couple hours away. I said, "Why do you keep
Mm.
talking about Louisville?" She says, "Well, that's where I live now. That's where I moved to." I said,
Wow.
"You moved to Louisville? When you moved, I thought you were moving like across town or to a new house. You
Oh,
moved to a different state?" "Yeah." I said, "And you're still driving down here and working 12-hour days with us?" She said, "Oh yeah."
oh my God.
She would get up in the morning and drive 2 hours and come work. And if it was just one day, she'd turn around and drive back at the end of the day. If it was 2 or 3 days in a row, she had a friend that she just crashed on their couch. And we had no idea until it was all over. I couldn't believe the commitment that she gave to it. But she just believed in
Wow.
the story that much, and she believed that it was really going to help people. And we didn't get into a lot of personal things talking about it, but I could tell there
Hmm.
was something story that resonated with her. Why else would she give us 16 days of her life for, nothing in
Yeah.
return, DoorDash lunch.
You never found out why? You never found
I
out?
never pressed, I never got into it, but I'm looking forward to
Huh.
reuniting with her, when we do a cast and crew screening and catching
Yeah.
up. That for sure, yeah.
That's my question. How come you were willing to drive this far? What spoke to you? I mean, it makes sense though, because so many things are so divisive now, and I do stand up, and a lot of stand-ups making fun of people, but a lot of times you can connect over humor. If you both think the same thing is ridiculous, guess what? That's called connection. But no, I think you're doing a great service. And full disclosure, I did not read the short story because usually what I do is I interview someone and then I say, "Am I interested?" And then if I'm interested, which I am, then I go and I stalk them. And not like I'm more of a neglector than a stalker, but you know what I mean. I go check them out. So I can't wait to read this, and I think I would like to do this meetup thing because I do think it would help people, and a lot of people are. Including two friends of mine, who have so many friends, so many, so many, so many, so many, so many friends. They're extremely popular. And they said, they feel so isolated. And it's like if people that have more friends than God are coming to me on the same day, they're good looking, they have careers, they got houses, and they're feeling isolated in this time. Well, that says something.
I mean, we've never been more connected and as a human race, and we've
Hmm.
never been more isolated. And I
Yeah.
don't know that the two things are necessarily, causationally linked, but they're certainly correlated time-wise.
Yeah.
And so that's why we developed the five coffees thing the way we did. You could certainly do it over Zoom with somebody, but the idea was, man, go sit at a coffee shop and look across the table at somebody and just connect with another human being. I don't even care if you read the book. Like, just go spend time with a friend.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. If you don't like
I
coffee, do it over lobster tail. You know?
That's right. That's right. Five lobsters in a book. I love it. Yeah.
There you go. Um, all right. So I'll just add to this. A long time ago, I'm 40, but I think I was 20, 21. and I was feeling real hopeless. And, my thoughts were going like, why am I here? Don't I just end it all? I was just like lost after college. But real simply, I was in a Whole Foods in Glover Park, DC, and a man, I guess he saw that I looked just hopeless. I was just like looking around out the window, and I'm just like, what am I doing? And a man came over to me. He said, are you okay? And I remember, I'll never forget just the fact that he seemed like he gave a he,
Yep.
on the radio, so I can't say, but the
Yep.
fact that he
Yep.
cared, it just totally turned my day around. And I'm like, oh, there's like nice people out there. And not that I was cured within a second, but I was like, hey, someone cares. This is so cool. And it just shifted me. And I don't think I would have jumped off a roof or anything, but it stopped all that. So, if you see anyone, sometimes you just say hi or actually express genuinely that you care, and you never know, you could turn someone's day around. Their whole life could turn around just from like a sentence or two. So, listeners, feel free to reach out to people. You don't have to get in their space, but like do something. You never know what you're going to impact.
The
So,
smallest gesture can have the biggest impact for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's,
yeah. So,
I don't know that all suicides are preventable. Um,
right.
but I do think a lot of them are. And I think that if we really were intentional about this connection with other people,
Hmm.
I think that we
Hmm.
could hold people back from the brink a little, And that's my goal
Oh
with
yeah.
this. Like, can I just keep you here? I'm so glad you're still with us. I'm so glad that you're here sharing
Thank
joy, laughter, and stories and inspiration with other people. And the ripple effects of that just go on and on, like you don't know where it goes.
Right.
And when we do those small gestures, we just sort of have to trust that those ripple effects are going to keep going far beyond anything that we'll ever know about.
Yep. And I've had at least two near-death experiences. I made a lot of promises, a lot of things that I'm going to do to this universe. So I got my work cut out for me. So no, anyone listening, no, I do not want to go to dinner and hang out and get drinks because I have things to do with my life. Anyway, all right, back to you. So question: if you could tell your younger self one thing, two things, three things that you know now that you didn't know as a child or teenager or 20 something, what would you tell yourself?
Uh, so when I was in film school, so this was 98 through 2002,
Mhm.
even before going into film school, really, my plan was don't go to Hollywood, but figure out how to make movies on your own and do it yourself and do it
Mhm.
from home and build your own thing. And I have to say, in 1998, even in 2002, that was idiotic. That was foolishness. That
Huh.
was not at all sensible. I mean, a cinema camera, hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time,
Right.
you know? The only way to get a movie in the theater really was to, unless you were just doing some four-wall to theater, some little indie something, in one town or here
Hmm.
and there or whatever. The only way for people to really see your stuff at the time was to get it some kind of deal with somebody in Hollywood for millions of dollars and push it out there and all the marketing and all that kind of stuff. And yet that's what I wanted to do. And I kind of put my eggs in that basket. I mean, I think that I could have gone to a lot. My friends that I'm still in contact with, one of my buddies that I stay with when I go out to LA is like a Oscar nominated sound designer.
Hmm.
He's worked at Skywalker Sound. He's worked on a ton of big movies. If I rattled them off, movies and TV shows, you would be very familiar
Hmm.
with them. And I could have gone out there and done that and probably been at that place by now, maybe. But I think that system would own all of my work, And this way has been hard. It's the starving artist route. I've been doing fundraising videos for nonprofits and, helping people with their social media or whatever. It's all good
Hmm.
work and I've all appreciated doing it. But now I've finally gotten to do my film, my feature film, and it's taken me to I'm 46 now.
Right.
But I
Right.
but now that I'm finally been able to do it and gotten to the place where I can do it, the camera is affordable. The camera's so affordable, I already have one. I've got all the equipment. I've got
Hmm.
editing software is starting to be free, basically. I've got all hardware that used to be, you'd either have to rent a room for a couple $1,000s a day or whatever. I've got a $500 piece of hardware sitting on my desk right now that used to be a $30,000, and
Hmm.
so it's also accessible now. I can do this right here. This hasn't cost me a thing. The
Oh,
technology involved here is not really costing us hardly anything. And I can take my finished film and go direct to customers with it and keep
right.
a bunch of and stuff out of it. I can do a lot of grassroots promotion and stuff like this and not have to spend millions on advertising. And now it's the preferred way to do it. The preferred way to do it would be to stay home and do it yourself and build your own thing and build your audience and
Yes.
connect directly with them. And so if I met my younger self in 1998, I would say over the next 25 years, you are going to get so discouraged because it's going to
Ah,
seem like you have chosen to do the dumbest thing in the world. But by the time you get there, you are sort of skating to where the puck is going to be.
uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
just keep trusting yourself and keep doing it because you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there real soon. So I feel
Yeah,
it over the horizon a little bit. As soon as I get this film done, Lord willing. So we're so close to being done. We got a little bit of music left, a little bit of color left. The visual effects are the big thing. Otherwise, I'd
right.
be planning the premiere party already. So hopefully within the next couple months we'll be wrapped up and done. So it's
Nice.
exciting.
Nice. Can't wait to see it. And, my unsolicited opinion, I think you made the right choice. My family, we're probably going to stay put, but we talked about moving to Tennessee. I've always admired Tom Green, and I use Tom Green as almost a verb. I say Tom Green it. Like, you don't need to, all these people want to move to LA. I got to move to LA. No, you don't. No, you don't. Use your brain, use your resources, Tom Green it, do it yourself. You don't need to move and uproot and say goodbye to your family. Families first. I think the way you're doing it is the way, and I feel like that'll become clearer than ever to you this year. Hopefully, it will with massive success. So on that note, we're 30 seconds or a minute over. Please tell our listeners, viewers, where to find you. I didn't get to all the questions. Your website. We can continue this another time. Paul Skidmore website. Where do we find you?
Parabolos.com, Parabolos.com, or you can go to fivecoffeesindabook.com and daisy chain your way there.
All right. All right. So short and sweet. Thanks so much for being on the radio. And now back to the studio for more Came from the Radio with Mark Torres.